Hey, this is Mr. Haller, and I'm back with part 2 for period 7. This is for period 7, so you should have your discounter program open and viewing the code. So here I am over in the reset button event, which we fixed yesterday, and we saw, or I'm sorry, fixed earlier, and we saw that it worked. And then we had just implemented the code for a calculate button event. So this one, assuming you don't have any blue squiggly lines. Now if you have a blue squiggly line, it might be because of something like this. Don't make this change, but just watch what I do. So I'm just changing txt final. I left the A out. So notice I got a blue squiggly line, and it's saying basically, hey, txt final is not declared. It means it's like, hey, I don't know what that is. But if I put the A in there and click off of it, now it's like, okay, yeah, I know what that is. So if you see blue squiggly lines, you mistyped something and the program doesn't know what you're referring to. And it's likely because you misnamed your controls and you didn't use the same names that I used. And you probably need some AIM support time for me to help you get that fixed. So let's save this and let's click our Start button. So I'm going to say original price is 100, and I'm going to, I think we came up with a test scenario of 15% up here, and we said the final price should be 85. So whoops, I'm going to come over here to the running version. So I got 100%. I'm going to dial this up to 15. Click calculate, and I get 85. So I'm going to hit my reset button. Cool. Now I'm going to do, I think my second number was 50. Oop, I'm going up. I should go down. So I can click this. I could also just go in and type. Either way works. Or you also use your scroll button. 50 at 0% discount. Calculate gives me 50. So I'm good there. And then I think we had a messy one. So we had 225.25 at 18%. So let's try that. So this one I'm just going to, whoops, I'm in the wrong place. This one I'm just going to type in 225.25. And I'm going to click here and just type in 18. Click calculate. Ooh, now that's interesting. So I notice my answer here, my final price, I get 184.7050. Now, we didn't get quite the answer we expected. It's close. It is basically 184.70. We got some additional information there. And for now, though, we're going to call that a win. So I'm going to hit my reset button. And we'll talk more about later how we can get rid of the extra digits. So but right now, I'm just going to click my reset button. Okay. And I'm going to click my close button. But nothing happens because if you recall, we didn't actually program the close event. So I'm going to click here on the X. Okay, come back to Form 1. And I'm in my code. So I'm in my code and I don't have anything for the close event. So I want you to type in what you think belongs there. Think about what we did with Hello World in our first program. What do we do to close the program? I'm going to give you a moment. Okay, hopefully you came up with me. Remember, me is a reserved keyword and it refers to the program. So me dot close, right? Hit enter. Notice there's this parentheses again. That indicates that it's a method, just like focus was a method. So me dot close. So I am going to click my Save All button, click my Start button, and just make this something really simple like 10. Calculate, gets 90, hit reset, good, close, and it works. So we got our program working. Now, ideally, in a program, I should have, before I actually coded them, I should have actually put comments here at the start of each event. So I'm going to say calculate button event, and I'm going to say what this does. And I'm going to say calculates the final price. And then I'm going to say reset button event resets values to starting state. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here to close button event, closes the program. So I've got nice comments that tell me what each part of my program is doing. I've got test data, I've got my algorithm that I'm using. These are pretty good comments. The other thing I want to now point out is if you look at our code, now you can kind of see why we use the naming convention that we did, where we use the 3 digits that identify what kind of control it is, TXT for text box, NUD for numeric up down, right? And then we use a meaningful name, okay? So you can kind of see why naming your controls. So instead of calling this, instead of BTN calculate being button 1 and this being button 2 and this being button 3, by calling it BTN calculate, BTN reset, BTN close, it's much easier to read your code. Likewise, if this had been text box 1 and this had been numeric up down 1 and numeric up down 2, it would have been much harder to read and understand the code that's going on here. So by thoughtfully naming our controls and using this naming convention of identifying what type of control it is with the first 3 letters, our code is a lot easier to read and understand. So I just want you to think how far you've come since that very first program. You should be able to look at this code and say, hey, I can understand what's going on. And if you understand the basic idea of this assignment statement where it's not these two are equal to each other, it's take this value on the right and assign it to what's on the left, that is fundamental to programming. Most code that you're going to see in a program is some variation of this statement. Like if you notice up here, what is this? This is an assignment statement. I have an equal sign here. That means assign to. But what am I doing? I've got to calculate this whole value. So I got to look at this and evaluate it. And when the program's running, it goes in and says, hey, NUD original, what's your value property right now? And it uses that number. Then it goes, NUD discount, what's your value property right now? And it gets that value and puts it in here. NUD original, what's your value property? So it puts all those numbers in there when the program's running to do the calculation. And it gets that number and then puts it into, assigns it to the text property of TXT final. So we've actually come a long way in this program in terms of understanding how code works, because now our code can actually change what's appearing on the screen. So you should have your program wrapped up. If you need to go back and replay this because I was talking too fast, I apologize. But you should have your P7 discounter program complete and running and with all the comments that I have. And upon my return, I will be checking your P7 discounter program. If it's not done, please come in and we will discuss it during AIM support. Ms. Weber is here in the morning on Friday, and then I will be back on Monday. Thank you.